there was a part of me that really liked it. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Anthony, there's a little thought experiment / game that my friend and I used to like to do, and I think about it all the time.
Okay.
And that little thought experiment game is, if you could have a completely useless superpower, not flight, not invisibility, not super strength, not laser eyes, something dumb, something that just for you, it would just be such a nice thing to have, some superpower. What would it be?
I know the answer. I know my answer immediately.
What is your answer?
I would like the power to always pick the fastest moving line or lane.
That's a great one.
Always.
That's a great one.
I would just always know which line or lane of traffic
would
be the fastest.
Amazing.
What about you?
Shortest distance between 2 points, man.
That's right. That's right.
My friend used to always say he wanted to, after he parked his car and then he started walking through the parking lot, if he passed by a open parking spot that was closer, he wanted to be able to just point at it and have his car appear there.
Oh, that's good.
Right? That's a pretty good one.
I don't, can I tell you, I've never been one of those people that worries too much about the distance of the parking spot.
Yeah. It's nice, right? When you're through the parking lot and then you find the spot and then you walk and then there's one closer, I can understand the being like,
I can understand. No, and listen, this is not about yucking anybody's yum. That's his superpower. That's what he wants. But I've always been one of those people where it's like, first open spot I see, I just take.
Yeah.
I just take. Because
I'm like that too.
It's an extra 50, 100 steps. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. I don't, it doesn't really bother. And I hate the people that sit there and wait because there's somebody about to pull out of the really primo spot.
Oh, dude, and it's like, there's like another spot, like 7 spots away.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? What are
you're just going to sit here and make all of us wait behind you? Yeah. Anyway.
What do you gain from this?
My angst is what they gain.
I will say there are a few times a year, maybe you go to a concert venue, like you go to a big arena show, or you go to like you go to maybe like a theme park or something, or you go shopping during the holiday season, and like, fuck, dude, you're in a giant parking garage and you're like a million yards away. Like you're in Goofy 53 and it turns out like Goofy 53 is the farthest you can be, and you got to take 2 trams to get to where you when that is happening. That superpower, those couple times a year where it works. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah. It might be worth having that superpower just for those 2 times a year.
Yeah.
Anyway, my answer to this question, I don't know if it was always this, but it certainly is this now. Because as I said, I think about this. It takes up space in my brain for some reason.
Yeah.
My answer now is I wish I had the magical superpower to never have an itch.
Oh.
I hate itching. I hate it. I will lay down in bed trying to go to sleep, and then I get an itch on my knee or on my shoulder or something. And I hate it. I just wish I could have the superpower to just scratch the itches or have them never even appear.
Yeah.
I want to be itch-free man.
Yeah. No, I 100% get that. One of my big questions that I always like to ask people is, would you rather be slightly itchy or slightly sticky for the rest of your life? And it's tough.
Neither of those is pleasant, but I think probably sticky.
I hate sticky over itchy.
I hate being itchy. I hate the thing where you're driving in your car and then all of a sudden the bottom of your foot itches like mad all of a sudden out of nowhere.
The couple times a year where you get an itch in the spot that's not your ear but not your mouth.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You can't get to it.
Where is it? Nobody knows where
even
it
is it.
I'll tell you what. My brother's a doctor. I asked him. I said, "Where is that?" He's like, "No." I was like, "What do you mean no?" He's like, "No." He's like, "If you ask that in medical school, you get yelled at."
Yeah. I know where that is. It's in your psychosis. That's where it is.
If you ask that, it's they simply tell you we don't deal in the dark knowledge. Stick to things that are knowable is what they say.
Well, we're going to talk about some knowable stuff right now. And I want to talk about itches and scratching.
Okay.
Because there's a new study that was just released. This is a study that was conducted at the University of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Go fight in Pittsburgh's. I don't know.
I'm neutral on Pittsburgh.
Yeah?
I got no feeling about Pittsburgh one way or the other.
All right.
I was in their airport once and they have a dinosaur.
Cool.
Yeah, like I think it's a real T-Rex. not like it's not like alive.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's the bones.
He wasn't like tearing your ticket or anything.
No, he was like,
I mean, I guess they don't tear tickets on airplanes. It's not.
That's right.
1962.
Little arms.
It's like, little help.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't quite do it, really.
All right. So this study is about itching and scratching. And why? Why must we? What evolutionary benefit does scratching an itch do? It seems pretty bad, right?
Well, I've thought about this, and I would imagine that in some ways, an itch is like your pain receptors where it alerts you to something that's wrong, right?
Yes, except the paradox that we're going to get into with this study is that an itch is pleasurable, right? Which means, or you mean a scratch, not an itch, but a scratch, scratching an itch. Sure. Scratching an itch is pleasurable, right? Sure. Even if it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Because, everybody's parent, dude, don't scratch it. If you get a mosquito bite, don't scratch it.
I was going to ask, what's it like now to be the parent who's got to tell the kid, don't scratch that thing?
I do the thing. I don't know if this was just my dad or if this is more common than my dad invented this, or I don't know. It's a small subset of people that do it.
Sure.
But I have now told my kids this thing my dad told me, which is slap it. Slap it.
It's no different
than itching it and scratching it?
Not really. Because here's the thing. Slapping it, and I hope this is what your study's about, slapping it is it still irritates the area that you're not supposed to scratch, but it doesn't get rid of the itch as well as scratching. So you have to do it more. And I think it evens out.
Maybe. This is not what it's about. It would be I would personally fund this study if the funding was very low, but I would love to know the answer to that.
Yeah. Hey, doctors, if this isn't a dark knowledge, hit us up.
If we have some like real cut rate bargain scientists listening who will do a study for almost nothing, I would love to know that.
Jeff, or if it's just something that's already known and we have some lovely smart doctors.
That would be even better. Already known stuff.
Damn, man.
But what I gathered from this.
Hey, have I ever told y'all how much Jeff hates you? Have I ever told you how little Jeff thinks of you all?
What I gathered from this University of Pittsburgh study is that not much has been done in the field of itching and scratching.
Okay. I don't know why you got to denigrate our audience.
So here's what happened. One of the reasons I love this, not just because I have a weird bugaboo about itches, which I do, and even talking about it, I don't know if you can tell in the video, I'm just scratching I have itches now because I'm talking about it. I hate
one of those people. Yeah.
I hate it. Anyway, that's not the only reason I love this story. The other reason I love the story is that we here on We Have Concerns, over the entire lifetime of the show, one of the things we love digging into is just the plight of laboratory mice. God, what a short, brutal, cruel life. It is. This might be, of the broad hellscape we've described over the course of this show. Yeah. The myriad ways that mice are absolutely tortured in the name of scientific discovery. Yeah. This might be the tip of the mountaintop for me of the worst possible things you can do to a mice. Because what they did at the University of Pittsburgh is they came up with a synthetic allergen that mimics the effects of poison ivy. Very cool. And they applied it to the ears of a bunch of mice. No. Ears. Yeah. That's the worst place. Have you ever seen an animal try to scratch inside its own ear? Yeah. Oh, just terrible. Nightmare. Dude, it gets so much worse, Anthony, because they separated the mice into 3 groups. Okay. The first group is poison ivy on your ears, Have at it. Scratch away, buddos. Okay?
No.
Second group is
no
poison ivy on the ear, but we have bioengineered you not to feel the itch sensation, which, hey, sign me up for that.
Group 2.
Group 2. I'm ready. Whatever we need to do.
Do they have the ability to stop us from fucking itching?
They know the itch sensing neuron.
What
so
the
they bio. I know. Like, can we do that? Is that an elective surgery I can sign up for? Because that would give me my superpower.
Shit, dude.
That's my superpower. Literally. I could bioengineer it right now. Let's do it.
Why are they gatekeeping this shit?
Only for mice, man. Only for mice. Okay. Third group. Nightmare fuel. Ready? Poison ivy on the ear.
You're in the clear. Poison ivy on the back. You're under attack.
No, poison ivy on the ear, and they put them in a miniature version of those dog cone things.
No, they didn't.
Yes. Force them to be unable to scratch themselves.
Hey, are there pictures?
I don't see any pictures in this article, but maybe.
I want to see pictures of the little mice and the little cones.
You know what's even funnier than that? They didn't call them cones. In the study, they called them, and this is just chef's kiss, they called them Elizabethan collars. I
know. No, I know.
They made tiny mouse Elizabethan collars.
Oh, that's beautiful.
For the little tiny mouse Macbeth that they were performing.
That's beautiful.
The little mouse Romeo and Juliet, you know? It was...
Okay. This is triggered a memory. There was a place where in San Francisco, I want to say it's like a famous store. Yes, it's called Paxton Gate.
Okay.
Paxton Gate in San Francisco is this store that just sells like weird stuff from the natural world. So like you can buy like,
oh yeah, look at that. You can
buy like taxidermy and animal bones and like weird stones and crystals. And like, it's a very cool, like kids love it. Adults love it. It's a fun place to just walk into. You know, museums are being funded less and less. So at least go to a place of commerce that has something educational in it. But they used to have this one artist who would make taxidermy mice in full Elizabethan outfits. And they would be set up in like shadow box dioramas that would simply show off the mice in the midst of like Hamlet.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If I can find it here for the video patrons, I will. But it's called Paxton Gate. Oh, here's a good one. It's not Elizabethan mice, but it's similar.
Oh, that's disturbing.
For $600, you can get this little taxidermy. It's two mice working together to get cheese out of a trap.
That's disturbing.
It's awesome.
Oh my God, it's $600.
Yeah, dude. Do you know how hard it is to taxidermy mice into looking like they're cooperating to solve a puzzle? I don't.
Who pays $600? What do you just put that in your house?
Yeah, dude. I would put it literally on the floor in a corner. So if somebody looked down, it would look like
those mice are working together to get out of your mousetrap.
That's right.
Audio listeners, first of all, sign up for the video because I shouldn't have to explain this, but I'm going to.
We have concerns.
Thank you. These are mice, taxidermied mice. So it looks like a mouse. It doesn't.
Real.
There's nothing not disgusting about it, right? It's a real mouse. Two real mice standing on opposite sides of a classic flipping mouse trap that you would put cheese on and it would snap.
You can curse.
It's a flipping mouse trap. These ding dong mice are on this flipping mouse trap. I swear to Jeeves.
These mother father snakes on my mother father plane.
One of them is pulling back the metal snap thing, the snapping apparatus.
Actual trap part of the trap.
Yeah. He's pulling it back and leaning his head back like it's taking all of his strength to do so.
Because it probably would.
It probably would. While the other one is leaning over and retrieving the cheese, safely retrieving the cheese from the trap.
Yeah. Yeah. We got multiple angles on it. And
it's an amazing piece of art.
Here's the thing. It's $600. Jeff's not wrong. It's $600. I mean, genuinely, if I was the sort of person that had $600, I would love this. Here's the thing that I love about it, Jeff, right here. Ethically sourced.
Oh, how's that possible?
What does that mean?
That means the mice died of natural causes before you taxidermed them?
Here's the thing that you don't know. These two mice were actually best friends in life. And so it's the most ethical thing to do is in death is to taxidermy them together.
That's right. This is what they would have wanted.
You can get a gift wrap for only $7.75 though. I just want to put that out there.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, Paxton Gate was full of stuff like this. So when these scientists call it like an Elizabethan collar, I'm like, yes, I understand completely.
Yeah, you have a mental image now.
Yeah.
So they put them in the collar and they prevented them from getting any sweet release from that pain of poison ivy.
Yeah.
All they wanted to do, their only desire was to fucking scratch their ear, and they couldn't. They couldn't do it.
I hate this.
It sounds awful.
I hate it. So what was the point of this? To simply drive mice insane?
I think that's just the side effect. The point was to observe what happened to the acute itch when you scratch it or when you don't scratch it, right? So what they realized was that, as you might have guessed, as every parent tells their kid, the more you scratched it, the rats or the mice that scratched it,
sure,
it inflamed. All right.
Yeah, of course.
So they checked out why that would be. And it turns out that when the mice scratched their ears, it released a substance called substance P, which is a thing that activates white blood cells called mast cells.
Yep.
These are central to triggering allergy symptoms.
Yep.
And it basically inflamed it because there's something called a neutrophil that is the source of the inflammation. It gets flooded with neutrophils and, it gets bigger and swells and becomes inflamed.
Yeah.
So
it's just
that's bad.
Yeah, of course. They're just like, hey, here's some stuff we already knew, but it's driving a mouse crazy.
Well, now we know that we know it's tied to mast cells.
Okay.
Right? We knew that mast cells could be turned on directly by allergens. You can get an allergic reaction to something that releases these mast cells that causes inflammation. Makes sense, right? If you're allergic to something, your tongue swells up or whatever it is, you get inflamed. And that's what's happening is these mast cells are being released and creating neutrophils that inflame the area. What they did not know is that the mast cells could be released from this substance P, which is from the scratching. So the scratching itself is causing the inflammation.
Whoa! The scratching is causing the inflammation, but the inflammation is the immune response, and the immune response is only caused by the scratching, or it's right. Not only caused by the scratching,
intensified by the scratching.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, this
seems like a. Can I just tell you?
Yeah.
Now that I've wrapped my head around this seems like a superfluous system. This seems like a system that it feels like my conscious intervention shouldn't need to be a part of this. It feels like we should just be releasing the substance P and the mast cells. It would be cool if my body just did this, without me having to feel the itch and scratch it. How do we do this enough automatically?
Well, I mean, it's making it worse, really. And that's the paradox that we're getting to, is that the mice with the Elizabethan collars and the mice that were bioengineered not to scratch, they had less inflammation from the poison ivy, right? So that inflammation's bad. That's not something that our body wants to have happen. So there's this paradox that we kind of spoke to earlier, which is, why does it feel good? Why do we want to scratch? Why does it feel good? Evolutionarily, we shouldn't be rewarded for doing something that causes us harm.
Well,
right?
But now we know that it's because it momentarily releases something that in the short term is a good thing.
Well, not necessarily, because I mean, it increases the inflammation, which is a bad thing in the long term. So they went, okay, what else is going on? So they started looking at the epidermis and the skin microbiome in the epidermis, right?
Okay.
And what they discovered was that one day after being exposed to the poison ivy, those mice that were allowed to scratch were less likely to have a certain bacteria in their epidermis, in their skin microbiome. That bacteria is called Staphylococcus aureus, and it basically is not good. So it is literally... I don't know
a lot, but I know that whenever I hear staph and bacteria, I don't like it.
Yeah. Staphylococcus aureus is the name of this particular bacteria that is dangerous. And the scratching reduced the amount of that bacteria that was in the epidermis. So what they're deciding that means is that there's this sort of balance between, like, the body going, hey, it's worth it to me to increase the inflammation over the long term to reduce the potential for that bacteria to really fuck me up.
Sure, but we get back to exactly what I was saying, which is, hey man, why do I have to do this manually? Why is there a switch that I have to flip?
Right, especially because those mast cells can just get released automatically. We don't need to intervene with a clumsy hand.
Dude, my body's releasing mast cells all the time.
Yeah.
Why do I gotta do it?
It seems wildly inefficient.
The time that I really need it, it's like, maybe I'm not going to give you enough. Buddy, there's no difference between you and me. I'm simulating a conversation between two parts of my body. They're not two different things.
Right.
My conscious brain and my immune system, same body. Why do they need to argue about this?
And the even crazier part, Anthony, is that almost every animal scratches.
Yeah. I'm looking at my dog doing it right now. It's adorable.
It's a ubiquitous feature of mammalian life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it's crazy that evolution went.
Have you played Mammalian Life, that new little cozy game?
Oh, so great.
It's so good. It's a little too much farming for me, but
if you get to the high levels, you can even get to a whale.
Whoa. Think of the baleen. So we're all scratching. None of our brains are doing the right amount of releasing mast cells. What's going on?
No. Well, they don't know. It is we're observing the fact that every single animal does this, and it seems to be making things worse as they're making things better. And it's this, every person has experienced this, this push and pull of, it feels better when I scratch it, but it feels worse after I scratch it.
Yes. That's human life. I would say that's about 30% of human life. In one way or another, it's just like, man, this is I got to do it. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad and it sucks afterwards, but I got to do it.
It feels so good while I'm doing it, and then it sucks after I've done it.
So I guess my biggest question about this is, when are they going to bioengineer me to not have to scratch? When are they going to bioengineer me to just release the amount of cells I need to get rid of this bacteria?
That is the perfect question, because that's where this study ends, because
everyone died?
Everyone died. All the mice finally got so fed up that they followed everything they learned in Mouse Beth.
Sure.
And they murdered everybody.
Wow.
It would have been funnier if I could have said those words.
I don't know.
Anyway, maybe not. Coriolanus? What's the best Shakespearean mouse pun?
I don't know. Why did it have to be the
All's well that ends mouse?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good. I think we've got it, and it's probably best not to spend any more time on it because it's so perfect.
All right.
That's what I think. So,
okay. A mouse summer night's dream?
You got to let it go. So, what are they going to do with this info?
So this is the idea is that this will lead to better treatments for people with chronic itching, like, eczema. There's, some diabetes that can cause chronic itching, increased inflammation. What they are saying that this is pointing them towards is, hey, we got to figure out how to release these mast cells, like get treatments that just do that, because that's what the itching's about.
Yeah.
Release the masts.
If release does... Okay. So the release of the mast cells is what makes us feel better in the moment? Is that correct? So would releasing these mast cells, would making a medication or something that was able to release these mast cells, would it also relieve the itch itself?
I mean, I guess it would.
Like it's a cause and effect. Like it's a cause and effect thing, right? Like I scratch, it releases the mast cells, and it says you don't itch anymore for a moment.
Yeah.
Or is it something else? Is it the actual? I mean, I would imagine like with a mosquito bite, it's actually like a mini allergic reaction to some sort of substance in the mosquito bite. So like,
right.
Because the substance is still there, does that mean like the itching is not going to go away? Is that two different systems?
Well, okay, maybe I'm misstating it, because the actual quote here is that researchers are investigating new therapies for dermatitis and other inflammatory skin conditions, such as rosacea and others, that suppress inflammation by targeting receptors on mast cells. So maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they want to prevent the mast cells from being released.
Oh,
so that it doesn't inflame. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So stop. Okay.
I think I had it backwards there. So it's intercept
but
that. But
then what do we do about that extra bacteria? Because don't we need?
Well, that's the problem, right? Is that there is this beneficial part of it, but it's this cycle that's happening. Is you feel the start of inflammation, you scratch it, it increases the inflammation, and it makes you want to scratch it more.
Yeah.
So it's this this cycle, this self-fulfilling system. So intervening in there and saying, okay, well, don't increase the inflammation. Maybe that is the solve here.
The inflammation might be worse than the bacteria itself, the amount of the bacteria.
Right. Yeah.
Because I would imagine eventually your immune system's going to get rid of that bacteria anyway. It doesn't sound like it's a particularly dangerous bacteria.
Right. Or maybe there's ways, there are antibiotics to deal with that.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Black Parade, Jeff.
There it is.
This is not the artist. This is not the level of artistry that I saw at Paxton Gate. This is not a $600 mouse in Elizabethan costume. But
this is that's a mouse Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, it is. What you're looking at right now is the work of Kelly Potts Martinez. It turns out that Elizabethan garb and human costumes on mice is a long tradition that started in the 1920s.
All right.
And this is Kelly Potts Martinez, who has made a group of Halloween mice. We've got just a general goth-looking mouse here in the middle with the dark eyeshadow.
Mouse Dracula, right there.
We got a mouse Dracula. We got a mouse Edward Scissorhands, a mouse witch, and a mouse Frankenstein. And here's what listen, I don't mean to denigrate the work of Kelly Potts Martinez. if she's listening, I think you do wonderful work. I'm just saying the ones that I saw at Paxton Gate were probably real intensely high level.
I don't disagree that that require a lot of work. You got to fashion the tiny mouse costumes. You got to make them the right sizes. You got to taxidermy the mouse, and then you got to somehow get it into the costume. Not easy.
Not easy.
But if I got $600, I'm spending it on the two guys like breaking free of the mousetrap.
No, that's a good goof. And that's the thing, is it's a good goof.
Yeah, well, hey, Mouse Edward Scissorhands, also a good goof.
Yeah, it's a good goof. And then let me tell you this, Jeff, if you're living in New York City, and listen, I don't know what you're doing in 2 weeks, but maybe we got to head to New York City, Jeff, because I want to show you this. We could go to Morbid Anatomy and we could take a mouse taxidermy class.
What? We could taxidermy our own mice?
For $425.
Oh my gosh, that's 2/3 of a mouse diorama.
That's right, but we make our own.
Oh yeah.
We make our own. And then because we make our own, we get it at a discount.
Well, the one they're showing is a lovely mouse in a dress having tea, sitting in a rocking chair.
Yes. It's a lovely dress. It's got like she's got like frilly lace skirt.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful kind of off the shoulder, like puffy sleeve. And she has her own tiny China porcelain glass.
I would argue not tiny enough. That is a disproportionately large.
Yeah, this is less a mouse having tea and more a mouse having like a late 90s cappuccino.
It's a bowl of coffee is what that is.
That mouse is calfed up. It's calfed up, my dude.
Now, if you were going to go to this class and you're going to taxidermy a mouse, what?
This is a science podcast.
Yeah. What milieu are you going to place your mouse in?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm seeing one right here that maybe would have been one of my top themes.
Uh-huh. Oh,
this is late 1800s mouse adventurer with a pith helmet and a scarf and a blunderbuss.
Yeah, that mouse is ready to F some S up.
This mouse is named Sir Arthur Winterbourne.
Of course. Of course he is.
And he has a little canteen and he's got a bandolier.
Now these are real dead mice.
These are real dead mice, my dude.
Because I feel like that's the conversation.
Look at that one. Reaper, but it's a mouse.
And he has bat wings?
Yeah, it's an Elizabethan style Grim Reaper. So he's got like the tall stovepipe hat and bat wings and a scythe and like.
Because I feel like that's the conversation that you got to have. Somebody is like, oh wow, look, you got what is that? A little action figure of Edward Scissorhands as a mouse? And you're like, no, my dude, that is a dead mouse dressed up as Edward Scissorhands.
That's a real mouse. And here's a mouse that is the Mad Hatter. He's got a waistcoat and a long coat. And
well, that's a fun mashup because the Mad Hatter actually does interact with a mouse, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of a bunny? Yeah, the Dormouse. Yeah.
But also, I want you to take a look. Here's the difference between these two artists and the level of their artistry. These teacups are the right size.
Yeah. Right. And as is the bow tie, which I'm loving.
Everything is great here.
That is not an off the shelf pre-tied bow tie. That's a hand tied bow tie.
Nothing on this mouse is off the rack. This is all tailored. She also has the Queen of Hearts.
Oh, that is excellent. Look at that.
My favorite Alice in Wonderland character, Napoleon Bonaparte. Hey, do you think you could really have one of these in your house?
Fuck no, dude. Absolutely would creep me out. Every single moment of the day it would creep me out. I'm not even have to be in the same room. Just knowing it's in my house would creep me out.
I got a friend who's really into taxidermy.
Really?
Yeah. She's like super into taxidermy and she's got taxidermy all around her house. I sent her, she moved to Europe, and before she moved to Europe, I got her a cuttlefish, like encased in like resin.
All right.
But she has like tons and tons of taxidermy, and for some reason, I don't know if it's her. I don't know if it's the rest of her decor or vibe or whatever. But when you walk into her place, even with all the taxidermy, you're not bugged out. But I think...
Oh, I think I would be.
I don't think you would. Like, that's the thing. There's something about, I don't know what it is, but I think if I had any of it in my house, I would be bugged out immediately.
Yeah. Their eyes would always follow you.
Do you think you could make it so their eyes animatronically follow you?
I don't think you have to. I think it's just a feature of the taxidermy.
You probably do it. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about mice. We're not even giving them dignity in death.
No. We
give them horrible lives full of experimentation. And I'm not saying that there's a pipeline from lab rat to taxidermy mouse, but I'm saying, like, if you're looking for a lot of dead mice, I would say that there's probably at least a back alley supply thing going on.
And maybe that's what they mean by responsibly sourced. We got them from the lab.
Right? We didn't do it.
No. They were throwing them out anyway. We're just going to repurpose. We got to dress them up. It already had the Elizabethan collar on, so we just added more.
Yeah, no, it was like, it was already there. It was ruffled up. And we simply, we were like, how can we add to this and celebrate the life of this mouse who we think probably really loved the works of Lewis Carroll. Like
the lion, the witch, the wardrobe, and the mouse.
Now that's C.S. Lewis.
Oh, you're right. That's C.S. Lewis. Pardon me.
That's okay. I would love to see a C.S. Lewis.
I would too. Yeah.
It would be great to see like well, here's the thing about Narnia. All the animals had like armor and weaponry.
Yeah.
What if Jeff, is it the theming, do you think, that's bugging you? What if we found a mouse that was in like a Redwall style, like a mouse guard style, and he was a little knight? If we got a mouse that was a little knight with a little shield and a little sword, and he looked like a little hero, would you be okay with it?
It's the dead mouse part that's the problem with me.
Listen, you got to get past that. If you can't get past that, it's a non-starter.
That's the non-starter part. It's I gotta admit, I love the costuming. I love the whimsy of it. So they put them in little poses and they got little expressions on their face. But I'm still taken by the dude like literally making a sort of semi-plausible scenario of the mice escaping from a mousetrap. Like that, like the idea of doing sort of scenes in your house that are just a hair into the fantastical, but not, they're not dressed up. It still looks like a mouse, but doing something a mouse shouldn't be able to do. That's a delight. That seems much more fun to me.
Well, then let me show you this. This is one squirrel murdering another squirrel.
Stabbing him right in the back.
Yeah, this is one.
You don't do him like that.
This is betrayal. What we're looking at is betrayal.
That is the final end of Chip and Dale.
That's right. That's how they. That's how they finally separate.
Yeah.
They can't take it. It's one mouse. It's one squirrel with a sword being stabbed through in the back by another squirrel.
He feels it too. You can tell. His head is leaned back. He feels the pain of that betrayal.
Yeah, he truly does. He truly does. And the other squirrel is like, you can feel its anger.
Oh yeah. It's been plotting this for a long time. I like this little tree in the background too.
Yeah, there's a mise-en-scène in that. There's a mise-en-scène. What do you think is the worst fate for a mouse? the lab experimentation, or the indignity of being a clown on someone's shelf?
I think living through an inability to deal with your poison ivy on the ear feels like one of the worst things I can imagine.
If I asked, would you have me stuffed?
If you asked?
Yeah, if I put it in my will.
Do I have to do it?
No, you just have to make sure it gets done. I don't think you have I don't trust that you have the skill to do it appropriately.
Well, that's accurate. I'd get like a third of the way through and just quit.
Yeah.
You'd have a stuffed arm.
It'd be real sad.
Yeah. I would facilitate that for you if it was your dying wish. Sure.
Now you have to display me in your home.
Well, now it feels like a big ask.
What's worse, me or a mouse in armor? Here's what I'll say. You can dress me however you want.
Oh, I can trust you however you want. You know what? What's so great about you and your death, Anthony, is that you already have so many great costumes in your wardrobe. I could just dress you in any of the things I've already seen you in.
That's right. So
Anthony as Poe Dameron.
Uh-huh.
Anthony as Spider-Man.
These are the choices that you have. It has to. When I die, you either must. Yeah. This is going to be in my will, Jeffrey. When I die, you have a choice. You can either stuff me and display me in your home, whatever costume you choose.
Yeah.
Or you must. My lawyer for my estate will supply you with one taxidermy mouse that you must display in your home, and you have to choose between one or the other. Which would you choose?
Oh, man, I feel like I could hide the mouse better. You know, you really are
a little guy. I'm only like 5'8".
You're such a conversation piece.
Yeah, it's true. I really do take focus in the room wherever I go.
That's undeniable. Mm-hmm. You know,
as in death, so in life. You know what I mean?
You know those? Have you ever been to one of those somebody's house or I guess?
Yeah, I don't mean to brag, but I have.
More often, you'll find them at like a mall store where they'll have that fake butler who's standing there with the plate. Like, that's what I would, Anthony with white gloves.
Dude, that's very good.
A little bow tie.
Oh my God. In the jacket with the tails.
That's right.
And you could make it so my eyebrows are up and my eyelids are half down. And I've got like my lips are slightly pursed, like, ooh.
Yeah. That's right.
Ooh.
Yeah. You'll be my little taxidermy butler.
Mr. Kanata. Yeah. And you can put drinks on me. You can put me out by the pool.
Yeah. If you'd like to leave your keys near the door.
Yeah. Oh my God. That would be amazing. Yeah. That's going in my will. I'm calling the lawyer.
I'm glad we figured that out.
That's right. The lawyer. Daniel Webster. That's my lawyer.
It sounds like, Anthony, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like you had an itch that we managed to scratch.
Hey-oh! Hey, everyone. It truly is a science podcast. I mean that. But if you want to hear more of the show, including bonus episodes, extra audio, when you hear us coming in the middle of a conversation in the beginning of every episode, buddy, that's another episode, and you're missing it.
It's real good. It's real fun, and it has zero science usually. So
everyone's listening to it, but you're not hearing it, dude.
Well, there's a way that you can also join in on the fun. All you got to do is go over to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns, support the show, and then you can unlock the ability to hear those fun episodes. And now you get to understand what we're talking about when the show starts.
You also get access to our Discord. You can hang out with other concerned citizens and chat, and you can talk about whatever you want. You could talk about what animal you would like to taxidermy the most, or person.
Yeah, or what you would do with a taxidermy to Anthony Carboni if you had one.
Let's keep the discussion of that to a minimum. I'm going to say we're going to put a 48-hour window on that, and then we're going to cut it off. But if you want to get access to all of that, all you have to do is head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.